Turn on your mic.
What I want to get back to a little bit is why defense delisted the wolves. And part of the final rule of federal delisting is the threat analysis. We've heard testimony on this arbitrary 350 figure, which we may or may not agree with, but unfortunately we've got to live with it for the next couple of years. In the final rule of federal delisting, the Wisconsin Wolf Management clearly demonstrates that the state's commitment by retaining previous management goal of 350 wolves, that it did not weaken any significant component of the original 99 plan. In other words, the basis of federal delisting is we can take care of our own wolf population, according to the federal final rule. One of the problems that we had in 2007 was we were sued in federal court. The Wisconsin Bear Hunters are the only group, along with Safari Club International, NRA, and that sued as an intervener. The state, unfortunately, at that time, did not intervene, which basically set us back to the point we're at right now. One of the statements from Judge Friedman to our attorneys was, if the state of Wisconsin really wants to manage its wolves, why didn't they show up in court? So the importance of this bill, and I can't state this enough, is we've got to clearly show, A, we can manage these wolves, B, we can manage them responsibly, and C, we can manage as a state. This is more than just a wolf bill. This is a states' rights bill. And I can't state that enough. This is a states' rights bill. So we've got to do something responsible, i.e. this bill, to show the federal government that we can responsibly manage wolves. We've got all the safeguards in place in this bill. Emergency closures, limiting the number of wolves to be taken, quota zones. This isn't a willy-nilly, let's go kill some wolves bill. It's a very responsible bill. But getting back to the federal rule, is one of the bases of delisting is that we can responsibly manage wolves. And that's, I think everything else has been covered, methods, harvest quotas, I don't need to get into that. But we gotta get back to why they were delisted in the first place and what we need to do to keep that delisting clear. Thanks.
Questions from members? Representative Levski.
Just the same question I asked the previous gentleman for the Sportsman Alliance. I think he spoke for the Bear Hunters, but so that we don't fall under the federal guidelines, obviously, do you have any latitude with your association to recommend changes that you can support in the bill? In other words, tightening up the language so that we don't fall back. And this would be if we're told that harvest techniques, season length, number of the quota permits, etc. Are you testifying that you're going to be supporting those type of modifications if needed? As the author said that he's going to be looking at.
Well, we would look at it, but unfortunately, fortunately, methods is not part of the final rule. Okay. Numbers is what the feds are looking at, not methods. So, and the other thing that I would caution you of is don't put rules on a pedestal. I mean, they're just like coyotes or bears or any other case.
Well, I would challenge you on that. And I think that is a dangerous statement to make to get back on the list.
I don't think it is.
So are you denying that they were on the endangered species list?
There's been a lot of species on the endangered species list over there that have been. The Endangered Species Act was never written for perpetual protection.
I agree with you.
So what we're basically saying is we've got to be careful and put them on perpetual protection.
No.
In other words, the endangered.
My point of that statement is just this. We all, I believe, on the committee are committed to managing our wolf population.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want the Fed managing the forest. So if we're given testimony so that we are not somehow way ahead of everybody, especially the wolf states that don't do certain method type of kills, etc. Let's not make ourselves that shining beacon of attraction for a lawsuit. That's all I'm getting at. And my understanding of the testimony was we have an endangered species, but now it's being delisted, but then also it's being referenced like the coyote, which it's not, of course. There's thousands of coyotes, and we have apparently 1,000 or less wolves. It's apples and oranges.
Oh, no, I would respectfully disagree. They are a recovered species of animal. Fully recovered.
Okay. I think we just have to be clear we don't get back in the list. Because right now we shoot coyotes like we used to shoot wolves.
Precisely, but that's why the permitting system, the afforded protection is by permits. The afforded protection is by emergency closure. The afforded protection is by quota zones. So they are being afforded the full protection.
Thank you.
Representative Tiffany.